Yes, it is Sunday, and that means it's time again for Politics Unplugged. I'm Tony Kovaleski, and Trujillo has the week off. Well, have you looked at your calendar lately? Yes, we are right in the middle of the holidays, but we're also just 11 months away from a 2020 election that promises to provide tremendous political drama. Colorado's Senate race is taking center stage not only here in Colorado, but across the nation. Republican Cory Gardner is viewed as one of the most vulnerable senators running for re-election next year. That means not only are there going to be a host of Democrats trying to win a spot on the ballot against him, but many big names from both sides will be coming to Colorado and putting their campaign faces in front of all of us, including, as we learned just this past week, the president.
And we'll be in Colorado a lot, actually. We have a great senator in Colorado. We have to get him extended. I'll be there a lot.
Now, the battle to face Gardner has been a long one. While at least 10 people have already dropped out of the race, there are at least a half dozen people still in the race. But many analysts think it's going to come down to a race between these two men, former Colorado Speaker of the House, Andrew Romanoff, and former Governor John Hickenlooper. Now, joining us to talk about this political issue, Democratic strategist Steve Welchert. Steve, welcome back to Politics Unplugged.
Hi, Tony. Good to see you again.
Lots to talk about here. This race is really shaping up. Just off the top, how do you see it right now?
Yeah, 2020 is going to be a lot of fun in Colorado for a lot of reasons, and you see a lot of ads now and in the future. Romanoff and Hickenlooper, you're right, is the real race for the Democratic nomination. Look, Andrew Romanoff's got a real reservoir of support amongst rank-and-file Democrats from Montezuma County in Southwest to Sedgwick County in the Northeast, because he went out as Speaker and as a leader in the House, helped Democrats win and run elections all over the state of Colorado, raise money. He's been to barbecues and JJ dinners and county picnics all over the state, so he's got that benefit. Hickenlooper, of course, multi-year
former governor,
mayor,
ran for president.
Yeah, and so John's got a real party base as well, and a little bit bigger money base probably than the Speaker has.
How do you see this shaking up? Because we have the caucuses coming up. There's some saying that the governor may have to go get signatures to end up on the ballot. How do you see it playing out before Democrats decide in June?
Sure, I expect Romanoff to go the caucus route just because he knows all those people, and he's got, like I said, this reservoir of support with those folks. So he'll have no trouble getting support that way. Hickenlooper can go either way, I suspect. If I was advising, I'd say just do the signature route and avoid the caucus process. The problem is that this time we have a presidential primary on March the 3rd, and so the only reason to go to a caucus is to either do this project or to want to be a delegate to the national convention. Otherwise, people are going to stay home.
Well, and the Super Tuesday part of Colorado getting back in, it's a whole new dynamic for the state. Yeah. We're seeing commercials run right now by Bloomberg, and I've talked to analysts and insiders like you that say on Super Tuesday, the reason we're seeing the ads is he's got to show up top 3 on all those states. What's your viewpoint there?
Well, two things. One, for the second cycle now in a row, unaffiliated voters will be able to vote in Colorado. And they voted in pretty good numbers last time, but now they're going to have a second chance. Mail ballots are going to show up at their house. They're going to be ready for this, used to this, and so they get to vote. That group of unaffiliated generally benefits a more moderate candidate, a Hickenlooper or a Bloomberg or a Biden, for example, in the primaries. Bloomberg's is kind of doing a Las Vegas move here. He's all in on Super Tuesday. He's not playing in Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, or South Carolina. He's avoiding all that. He's going to roll the dice for Super Tuesday because he can afford the TV time in California and Colorado and other places. But he's got to be more than top 3. He's got to really be 1 or 2 in many of those states.
So what are you hearing from Democrats with Bloomberg's entree into this? Because it's shaking things up. You've got some political history, the Ross Perot story, and is there concern that could streamline the president's opportunity to win re-election in November?
Good
What's
point.
The scuttlebutt?
Yeah, no, good point. Bloomberg could have run as an independent, but he's not. He's running as a Democrat, and so I don't think it'll be a third-party move the way Perot did. I don't think he loses. He won't then run as a third party unless our nominee is somebody he really thinks is distasteful. I suspect this is all about Joe Biden, and if Biden continues to maintain this lead, holds on, he'll be fine. But if Biden were to slip at some point, that's why Bloomberg is here. Because if Biden slips, Bloomberg is the backstop for a more moderate wing of the Democratic Party.
And then this leads us to November, and whether it's Hickenlooper or Romanoff against Gardner. Tell me why Gardner is in that bullseye and considered the most vulnerable.
Right. Well, it's the dynamic really runs from 16 to 20. It's over this 4-year span. Colorado has gotten bluer and bluer and bluer. If you remember in 16, Hillary Clinton won Colorado by 5%. Whoever the Democratic nominee is in 2020 will likely win by 9 or 10%. And so if you're a Cory Gardner's camp, you can find the analytics to maybe get you 4 or 5, getting back 9 or 10, which means people are going to walk into the voting booth, vote for a Democrat for president, then turn around and vote for a Republican for the U.S. Senate. It's not very likely. It's hard to get 9 or 10% of the people to do that, to switch their ballots that way.
And when we get to that election and the turnout, I realize we're 11 months ahead of, but how critical will that turnout be for both parties? Because when you saw in 2016, Democrats felt they lost the White House because the turnout had a play in some state. They thought that Hillary had won. And now do you get that Democratic wave in November, and that's something else Gardner has to think about? Is the president, with these visits that he's promising, will he be able to maybe blur that number? Yeah,
you're asking really good questions. The truth is that the turnout model for both sides, I think, will be energized. I think the Trump base will be energized because of the impeachment operation we're going through now. I think the Democratic base has been mobilized for a while and will be wildly energetic next year in Colorado and some other places. The national picture in Trump campaigning will be a really key question. You may see Trump come to Colorado and Cory Gardner not be on stage with him. That'll be a decision his campaign will have to make as things go on. But Gardner's going to want to localize the race, talk about Colorado, what he's done for Colorado, and Trump's going to talk about a national campaign. A nationalized race doesn't help Cory Gardner in Colorado. Mike Coffman had trouble with that last cycle as well, and that's not good for Republicans.
Well, and you talked a little bit about that 16-18 blue wave and the concern here in 20. It wasn't long ago that Colorado was truly a purple state, and when presidential campaigns, money was coming in from both sides. We saw in 16, Trump really didn't play here, didn't come in, no ground game, didn't spend a lot to get the vote. Is Colorado going to be considered a blue state in 2020?
Yeah, Colorado's not a swing state, I don't think, in 2020. Colorado's going to be in the blue column. And in past elections, we've all seen like a 12 or 14 state strategy. This is going to be a 3-state strategy. This is about Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and about 100,000 voters amongst those 3 states are going to decide a national election.
Steve Welchert, thanks again for the insight. It's going to be an interesting 11 months. I'm sure you'll be back often.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, we're talking about something everyone is talking about, the impeachment proceedings. Stay with us.